It might not have been pretty, but the Bengals got it done in Denver. Hi again, everyone. I'm James Rapien with allbengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk. And yes, the Bengals victorious against the Denver Broncos on Sunday in a weird, wacky, wild, ugly, it doesn't matter because the Bengals improved to 8-6 on the season, win 15-10. Boy, oh boy, the game just ended as I record this probably about 10 minutes ago. I waited. I was going to do an instant reaction, but I had to wait to see what happened in the Ravens game, Ravens-Packers, because Tyler Huntley played his ass off, and the Ravens almost beat the Packers, but they fall to the Packers 31-30. So you know what that means, Bengals fans. That means that right now, at least for this week, with the Ravens coming to town next week, we're talking about the first place in the AFC North, Bengals at 8-6. They have the tiebreaker over the Ravens. We'll see what happens in Cleveland on Monday, but you don't care about that. You care about the Broncos game. So I'm going to give you my thoughts, and I'm going to start with something that, at least on social media, was met with a lot of, oh my God, I can't believe he took the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands for a second straight week. And look, I crushed Zach Taylor last week. I think I was probably harder on him than anybody else, any media member in this market, because of the platforms. I talked about him on my daily podcast, Locked On Bengals. I ripped them here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I wrote about it on allbengals.com. There was a lot of honesty about what Zach did, which was Joe Burrow was cooking and you took the ball out of his hands when, well, it mattered most. Today wasn't the same thing. In fact, it was the opposite. Zach Taylor knew that Joe Burrow and the offense wasn't cooking. They were at best. And I'm being really nice because they only had 4 first downs in the first half, which ties their season low for first downs and a half with the Jacksonville game. And we know how that one ended. It was Burrow carrying the team back in week 4. Well, this wasn't that style of game. What this game was the defense is cooking and the defense is rolling. And whether it's Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock, this defense is going to get it done for you. So when it's 3rd and 8, and I even tweeted this, will the Bengals throw the ball here? I thought it was a risk to throw the ball. 2 minutes to go, 3rd and 8, and I get it. Joe Burrow, you want to cook. The problem wasn't Burrow. He finished 15 of 22, a $157 and a touchdown, 103.8 quarterback rating. But the problem is these defensive backs, this secondary for the Broncos, they put the clamps on Jamar Chase. They put the clamps on T. Higgins. Those guys combined. T. Higgins had 2 early receptions for 23 yards in the first quarter. You remember hearing his name anymore? I don't. Jamar Chase, 1 reception, 3 yards. Clamps, lockdown city. So I actually get it and understand it. And while I can get into the Samaje Perine usage some other time, because I do think Chris Evans needs a little bit more run, and hopefully we see that at some point. I don't know what the heck is going on, and we'll keep you up to date with Joe Mixon's ankle injury. Overall, I like the decision there because you're putting the ball back in the hands of the unit that was hot this week, which was the defense. And they obviously got the job done. And what a masterful performance by this Bengals defense. Let's go down the list. I'm going to start, and we don't do game balls normally. I'm going to do game balls. Jermaine Pratt. My man had 15 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, and a half a sack. He was all over the damn field. He was a possessed animal. And it just seemed like 57 was there. 57 was there. Oh, it's 57. 57's there again. Oh, he's there again. He's there again. The next guy, 15 tackles for Pratt. Because I know some of you are probably saying, well, they ran the ball a lot. The next highest tackler was Von Bell with 6 tackles, right? And a bunch of guys had 6 and 5 tackles, and then it just goes on from there. By the way, shout out to Trey Hendrickson. Ballin'. Dude has a sack in 10 straight games now, 1 away from tying an NFL record. It's a Bengals record. And I can't believe I've gone 4 minutes plus into this video without mentioning my guy Money. And I know he wants to be called Money Mac. That's not the nickname I gave him. It don't matter. Whatever you want to call him, he is Money. Congratulations, Evan McPherson, on a record-setting day. 58-yard field goal is the longest in Bengals history. He also had a 53-yarder, also had a 30-something yarder. I forget it off the top of my head. Either way, 3 for 3, and really gave the Bengals the momentum going into halftime with his big leg. What a weapon he is. And that's the thing is sometimes, going back to what I said about Zach Taylor, defending him, understanding the decision, sometimes you do have to win with your defense. Sometimes you do have to win with your kicking game. Sometimes you do have to win in ways that aren't deep plays and sexy plays with Joe Burrow finding this guy over the middle or this or that. Or sometimes that happens. And today was one of those games. Yes, Burrow made the plays when needed. And boy, oh boy, did Tyler Boyd come through when needed. 5 receptions, 96 yards. The 56-yarder goes without saying. Everybody's going to see that in. What a masterful running and maneuverability by Boyd to get in the end zone there. I thought Burrow had a good day overall. And that's the crazy part about this offense, is that they were down for most of the game. But I thought Burrow played well. I thought he moved well in the pocket. And obviously he found Tyler Boyd there. And then he found Tyler Boyd about 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 3rd and 10 for 15 yards. And that was a huge conversion because the Broncos, what do they want to do? They want to matriculate the ball down the field. They don't want to be forced to really push the ball down the field, even with Drew Lock, who has a big arm, because they don't trust him. And that part of it really gave the Bengals defense the keys to things because they threw it on that one, if you recall. 3rd and 10, they throw it. 3rd and 8, 2 minutes to go. Okay, we can pin him back. Kevin Huber's having a good day at punter. I get it. I understand it. And now the Bengals tied for first place with 3 weeks to go. You take that all day long. You escape Denver with a win. You're dealing with multiple injuries that we'll talk about right now. Akeem Adeniji goes down after the 3rd drive. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd drive of the game, gets nicked up, comes back for one more drive. And then you see Jackson Carman in there at right guard. Obviously, Fred Johnson at right tackle. I didn't really notice any issues there. A lot of the pressure stuff to me was coverage. And it just seemed like the coverage downfield. Burrow got sacked 3 times. One of those was a slide down late where he kept the clock running before that pass to Boyd. But overall, man, it's just this defense. And that's the thing is when you look over the next 3 weeks, they have the Ravens. Who knows if Lamar Jackson will play? I would imagine they sat him today. He was questionable. They sat him today against the Packers, hoping that it would be enough to get him right for next week. So you got Lamar Jackson, then you got Patrick Mahomes, then you got a Browns team that you just seem to always get your head kicked in by. I mean, you need this defense to be complete, and you need this defense to be what it was today over the next 3 weeks. So I think that was a very good sign. And we can get into the particulars about having this guy or not having that guy. But ultimately, the Bengals offense did enough. I thought Zach Taylor did enough. And I thought he made the right decision. By the way, Khalid Kareem, I know you left with a concussion, but what a wild play. How many players go for the strip? This isn't basketball. How many players go for the strip and rip? I loved it. And he rips Drew Lock. I don't know what the Broncos were calling on offense there on the 9-yard line. Rips Drew Lock. Returns it. I knew he was down because you could see Teddy hit him and he falls partially as a result of, or not Teddy, Drew Lock hit him and partially as a result of that. And in the play, unfortunately, Kareem got a concussion at the end of that play on the hit when he fumbled. But he had 3 plays where I noticed a tackle for loss, and then I believe it was a sack. He had a sack, right? Let's see here. Sorry, I got to check and make sure. He didn't have a – so he must have had a tackle for loss. He had a tackle for loss, quarterback hit, then he had the forced fumble, the strip. It's just because he forced Teddy Bridgewater to throw it away after the tackle for loss. It was back-to-back plays. Played well, so hopefully he can continue to make his presence felt if he's healthy enough to go. So we'll keep you up to date on all that. But, man, what a game. Really, what a game. It's ugly, but sometimes you have to win ugly. Good teams win ugly. And, heck, I think back to playoff teams in Bengals history. The 2009 team won ugly a lot, 18-12, different scores like that. A lot of especially the early Andy Dalton era teams had to win ugly. Zach Taylor hasn't had to win close games ugly this year. Not many, right? Outside, he hasn't really won many close games. Usually they pull away at the end. And while this maybe should have been a game where the offense figured it out and pulled away, they won. And they won ugly. And the Ravens lost. And so 8-6 is 8-6. So enjoy it, Bengals fans. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're inching ever so closely to 9,000. And I'm feeling good today because we're 7-7 now with our predictions. You can't say we're under 500 no more, baby. 7-7 with our predictions on the season, scratching and clawing in my quest to get to 10-7. Because 10-7 is playoffs, right? For the Bengals, for I think, or anybody. If you get to 10-7, you're probably in. Outside of some of these teams that have lost a lot of AFC matchups, and the Bengals, they helped themselves big time today, not just in the division. You know, even if the Ravens would have won, the Bengals would have been the fifth seed, I believe, they would have been the sixth seed in the wild card race. So huge win over a team that was 7-6, and a lot of guys came through and made big plays. So we're going to have more on this. We will have your latest news, another video dropping, but on Monday. But for our editor, for our producer, Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapine, signing off for now. Again, the final. The Bengals handle business. Your first place Bengals, 15-10 in Denver, improving to 8-6 on the season.